The turning point life has a strange way of testing people when they least expect it. For Aaron Miller, that test arrived quietly, wrapped in ordinary days that slowly drained his confidence. He was a young man from a small town in Ohio, raised in a hard-working family that believed deeply in honesty, effort, and patience. Like many others, Aaron grew up dreaming big, imagining a future filled with success and respect. But dreams, he soon learned, were easier to imagine than to achieve. After finishing college, Aaron struggled to find a stable job. One rejection letter followed another. Friends who once studied with him were moving ahead, buying homes, starting families, building careers, while Aaron remained stuck. Holding his grandfather's notebook, he said, "Sometimes, all it takes is one story, one sentence, or one belief to pull us out of despair. Motivation doesn't change our circumstances instantly. It changes us, and that changes everything." The audience listened silently, many with tears in their eyes. They saw themselves in Aaron's journey. Life will always bring moments of doubt and darkness. But within those moments lies the opportunity to grow stronger. Inspirational stories remind us that failure is not the end, struggle is not weakness, and hope is never foolish, because every great change begins with a single decision. To keep going, subscribe my channel. Each morning felt heavier than the last. Slowly, self-doubt crept in. He began questioning his abilities, his worth, and even his dreams. There were days when Aaron would sit alone in his small apartment, staring out the window, wondering where life had gone wrong. The silence felt loud, and the weight of failure felt unbearable. Motivation seemed like a distant memory, hope felt fragile. One evening, while cleaning old boxes, Aaron found a notebook that belonged to his late grandfather, Samuel Miller. His grandfather had been a factory worker who lived a simple life but carried deep wisdom. Curious, Aaron opened the notebook. Inside were handwritten notes, thoughts, and small stories. Lessons his grandfather had learned through years of struggle. One line caught Aaron's attention. "When life pushes you into darkness, remember, seeds grow in the dark before they reach the light." Those words stayed with him. That night, Aaron read every page of the notebook. The stories were not about success in the traditional sense. They were about resilience, patience, and faith during hard times. His grandfather had faced layoffs, illness, and loss, yet never stopped believing that persistence mattered more than speed. The next morning, something inside Aaron shifted. His problems hadn't disappeared, but his perspective had changed. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, he began seeing it as preparation. He decided to take control of what he could. Aaron started small. He created a strict routine, waking up early, exercising, reading, and improving his skills. He enrolled in free online courses, learned new technologies, and volunteered at a local community center to gain experience. It wasn't glamorous work, but it gave him purpose. There were still setbacks. Some weeks felt discouraging, but whenever doubt returned, Aaron remembered his grandfather's words. He realized that motivation isn't something that magically appears. It is built through consistent action, even when results are invisible. Months passed. One day, Aaron applied for a position at a startup company. During the interview, instead of pretending to be perfect, he spoke honestly about his struggles, his failures, and what they had taught him. The interviewer listened carefully. A week later, Aaron received a call. He got the job. That moment wasn't just about employment. It was validation that perseverance pays off. Aaron felt a sense of pride he hadn't felt in years. He wasn't successful overnight, but he was moving forward. As time went on, Aaron grew in his career. More importantly, he grew as a person. He began mentoring others who felt lost, reminding them that feeling stuck doesn't mean life is over. It means transformation is underway. Years later, Aaron stood on a stage at a community event, sharing his story. He spoke about despair, rejection, and the power of inspirational words.